What's up everyone, welcome to the channel. Today I'm watching Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood episode 32, plus doing some other things as well. So here's the plan for this episode. It's not just going to be my typical intro reaction discussion. So I'm finally getting around to putting my reaction to the post-credit scene of episode 29 into this video. That's going to go in after I have this big spill I'm about to have. I'm going to spend a good portion of this intro doing a big recap of everything and recollecting my thoughts, as I really feel like we're about to move into like a new part of the show. So I'm going to take this time to recollect all my thoughts and opinions and theories that I have going forward. Make sure I have as many details as I can solidified in my head going forward, because I'm really enjoying, picking up on as much as I can. And then I'm going to throw in my reaction to the episode 29 post-credit scene, which I did watch straight after last episode 31. And then I'll talk about that a little bit as well. It was a really good one. I'm really upset that I missed out on that, but you'll hear all about that once I put the reaction in there. And then we'll get into episode 32. So this could be quite the long video. I will put timestamps down below in the chapters section, just like I do with all my videos. So if anyone feels like they want to skip this part or just watch the reactions or just get to the discussions, you have the option to do that. But I know a lot of you really enjoy the talking segments of these episodes as well. So I'm really starting to pick up on a lot more things once I go through and edit episodes. A lot of lines I didn't quite pick up in my first watch through, and some symbolism and what things mean and whatnot. So I've written a lot of things down. I just want to have all of it out there. A lot of you guys in the comments are really good at picking up on these things as well, and kind of being really subtle about it as well, which is quite cool. So the reason I'm doing this is, at the end of last episode, there was a lot of focus on the North, right? They mentioned it several times throughout the episode. And someone in the comments even said the North arc, which just makes me feel like, right, we've got a whole new part of the show coming on. Perfect time to get all my thoughts where they need to be. So I'm going to start by talking about Kimberly, because that's probably like the most fresh thing that's happened, right? The newest thing to happen in the show. So I drew a lot of attention, obviously, to the fact that Kimberly essentially could have escaped prison whenever he wanted, because he still had his Philosopher's Stone on him. And I've said in the past, this show is really good at, tying up loose ends like that, or explaining things, and like nothing is by accident, right? But the general consensus does seem to be that the show doesn't really explain it, and that Kimberly was there by choice, which I think is very on character for Kimberly, which would make sense. Like, why, if Kimberly could have left whenever he wanted to, like, why didn't he? He chose to stay there. So that obviously gets me thinking. I know a few of you guys have said in the comments, right, it doesn't really get explained, but I know in some instances with details like this in shows, and you guys have been really, really good about not spoiling things, so I'm still going to talk about what I might think be the case. And this ties into some thoughts I have about the Ishvalan War as well, so I'll start with that. It'll be very brief and I'll continue on with this Kimberly stuff. I was very conscious of the fact that I felt like there was something more to do with the Ishvalan War, right? Like, we know Envy was the one to start the war, which clearly would have been under the direction of Father, or perhaps even Bradley, but I'm assuming it was from Father. And to me that says, Father wanted to get rid of Ishval, right? And I'm thinking a lot about Scar's brother and his research notes. They put a lot of emphasis on last episode, their religion, alchemy, alchemy. Scar's brother said there was something strange about this land's alchemy. It's just really got me thinking that maybe some of them were getting onto something that maybe Father didn't want. Now, we know Father has the power to just exterminate civilizations overnight, like from Xerxes, right? But perhaps Father wanted to do things differently here. Now, the reason sometimes I don't think the entire purpose of the war starting was for Philosopher's Stones was because the war went on for 7 years, right? And at some point later on in the war, I think it might even have been after 7 years, was when Bradley put in that executive order, I think it was 3066, exterminate all of the Ishvalans, right? The Ishvalan War of Extermination. And that to me just kind of signals like, right, we want to actually get rid of the Ishvalans and we want to be taking them to make Philosopher's Stones, right? I could be wrong about this. The entire purpose of the war could have been, to get Ishvalans to create Philosopher's Stones. But to me, when Bradley stepped in as the Führer and said, okay, 3066, let's get rid of them all, take some in and make some Philosopher's Stones, because there was lots of emphasis on Bradley talking to the priest about, you are just one life, you are not worth any more than any other Ishvalan life, right? Human sacrifices for Philosopher's Stones. But I really feel like we're going to learn more about, what Scar's brother was looking at through his research notes, which we are presumably going to find in the north, which I'm very excited about. You know, it just seems like there was more to it. But like I've been saying, I could be wrong. I'm going to stay open-minded about it. That's just where my head is with all this right now. Okay, back to Kimberly. So from what we know about the fifth laboratory and whatnot is that, yes, the homunculi and father were orchestrating that, right? And maybe it was just Bradley, you know, as the Führer, in cahoots with Marco to create that Philosopher's Stone that Kimberly used. And I was initially having thoughts like maybe Kimberly was involved with the homunculi beforehand, because the homunculi were clearly involved in creating this Philosopher's Stone. And it could have just been Bradley acting as the Führer, at which point Kimberly probably doesn't know that he's a homunculi and about all the corruption and whatnot. But the more I think about that scene of Kimberly and Envy is that there wasn't really a connection prior to the Ishvalan War, except Envy said like long time no see, right? And perhaps that's just from the Ishvalan War, I really don't know. But it makes me feel like Kimberly might have had connections to the homunculi, because we saw he killed, you know, the officers or whatnot that knew he had the stone. And then he just allowed himself to be captured? Like there must have been a reason, right? Like why did he allow himself to stay in there for so long? Maybe he's just like that. He's just crazy. There is no reason. That's a possibility. But perhaps he was waiting for the right time. You know, perhaps he was like, you know, father or the homunculi or something said, look, we'll come get you when the time's right, kind of thing. It's a possibility. And I think that's it about Kimberly. And he really connected with Envy, right? Just about how cruel the homunculi seem to be and everything. So I think Kimberly's like a good fit to be involved with the homunculi. Maybe Kimberly will become a homunculus down the track. It's really interesting to think about. And someone brought up like a really good point in the comments about like, you know, Roy and Hawkeye and Hughes and even Knox's involvement, I guess, in the Ishvalan War. And I've been harping on a lot about, look, I feel like, you know, Hawkeye and Roy trying to do the right thing, but I don't want them to be viewed as war criminals and mass murderers, you know, by the public. But that's exactly what they are, right? Like there's no way around it. Like Hawkeye said, they did carry out the actions. They did all these things that they knew they shouldn't have done, but they still did them. But it's the fact that these characters are so acknowledging of that. They're not like sticking their heads in the sand about it. They're going, no, we did this. We killed all these people. We did all of these things that we knew we shouldn't, right? And that they can see that the path to Amestris changing is them being viewed that way, which is really tough because, like this particular comment said, it's like, you know, they're main characters to us. Like we see them as good guys, but they've done a lot of bad things. So it's really hard to like accept that, especially for me personally. But it is what it is. And like I said, I still hope we find like a different way to get around that, but we'll have to see. And just to briefly touch on Ed, Al, and Winry a little bit as well, just how their whole mindset has changed from the start of the show, from so desperately, you know, wanting to figure out human transmutation and Philosopher's Stone things to bring their mother back, you know, going through the whole ordeal of, you know, realizing that to create Philosopher's Stones is to sacrifice humans, which is just wrong. It goes completely against their morals, and they've given up on that. They've realized that's wrong, which I think is really good of them, and kind of realized that, you know, what is dead should stay dead. And then Ed figuring out, obviously, what human transmutation really is while he was inside of Gluttony with Ling and Envy was really cool. Like, human transmutation is not the creation of, you know, for example, bringing their mother back. It's deconstructing oneself and reconstructing again. And that is clearly how, you know, they get into the portal. That's how they're going to try and get Al's body back. And the reason I bring all this up is because there was emphasis on it last episode between May, Scar, and Marco, right? Once May found out that Marco created a Philosopher's Stone, she was so desperate to find out how. Like, I need this immortality. I need to save my clan. To Marco saying, no, like, I can't tell you. And Scar saying, no, you shouldn't desire these things. It's the same thing that Ed and Al went through. They were so desperate for a Philosopher's Stone to create new life. And then once they realized how they came about, they're like, okay, no, like, this is bad. And now May is presumably going to go through the same thing. And even Ling as well. Like, something about the Shingi's people, they can sense like the amount of souls in the homunculi. So I'm sure Ling, being inside of greed right now, is probably able to understand what a Philosopher's Stone is, and that perhaps the idea of immortality is wrong as well. So for them to kind of go through the same thing that Ed and Al have been with this is going to be really interesting to me. I want to see how that continues to play out. And just back to Ed and Al, the way they're mindset has now shifted more towards just getting their bodies back. Lots of emphasis lately on, the people close to them, like Panako and Izumi, Winry obviously, who are all really keen for them to get their bodies back. So just to see how their mindset has shifted from, trying to get their mother back to focusing more on themselves and the people that are still here, that are still alive. And Winry, of course, we haven't seen Winry for a long time. I know that outro, I see the start of it, it's very Rush Valley oriented. And when I watched the episode 29 post-credit scene, it kind of fades in from the post-credits, so I saw a little bit of the end there. And it just seems like it's all about Winry, which is really interesting. But she's still in Rush Valley. I'm wondering when she's going to come back into play. We've only seen her once briefly when Ed phoned her up. And what's interesting about the pairings of Scar, Mei, and Marco, and I guess you could say Yoki as well, he's clearly had the least development in the show, at least. I know there's a little bit more backstory of him in the manga. But I look at Scar, Marco, and Mei as three characters who have a lot of room to kind of change their views on things and kind of really come around. Scar, it's very obvious. I don't need to talk too much about Scar. But Mei, even the way that she saw Ed in her head, bars. She saw Ed as this big, she really had him on a pedestal, so to speak, right? He knows things about immortality, I need to find him. And then as soon as she saw him, she completely changed her tune. And the same with Alphonse, she thought Alphonse was going to be the same as Ed, and then once Alphonse started to describe himself, she's like, bang, now I'm going to jump on that, put you on a pedestal. But after she's been talking to Marco, I think she could really start to change her tune about immortality as well. And even her interaction with Lanfan, I know they're rival clans and whatnot, but there's a lot of room for Mei to really come around as well, just like Scar. And Marco as well, and I can talk more about this after the post-credit scene, just about where he's at mentally, what he's had to do, what he feels like his value is to the world right now. It's just a very interesting pairing of those four people. There's so much room for them to all change and really come around. And I feel like we're all going to end up on the same side against Father at one point. That's what I want to happen. It might not happen, again, staying open-minded, but that would be really cool. And we've taken a step back from Father and Hohenheim, really two very mysterious characters at this point. And I'm going to stick with my theory right now about the two of them possibly being the two sages, one that developed alchemy, one that developed alchemy. It's really interesting to me. I'm really hoping this is not the next Hughes thing for me. I was really wrong about Hughes, but this I've really put a lot more thought into, and I think there's some possibility for at least a little bit of truth to come of it. But if not, I'm sure whatever does happen is going to be really cool. And I'm just going to touch back on, because we haven't seen a lot of this in the show lately, just the way that Ed and Al are connected. They mentioned a while ago that the first time they went into the portal, their DNA kind of mixed, right? When they deconstructed and then reconstructed again. And the whole spill about how Ed could possibly be providing for Alphonse's body, which we now know is still there inside the portal. Looking very malnourished, but saying how much Ed eats and sleeps, he could possibly be providing for Al's body as well. And the fact that he's not growing as well. It's all so interesting. That's been one of the most interesting things to me so far that they've thrown into the show. So I'm really keen for that to come back up again. But it seems like we're focusing a bit on alchemy now for Ed and Al. And I mentioned last episode, I feel like Al getting his body back happens way later. It just feels like endgame sort of stuff for me. So I know they're putting a lot of emphasis on it now. I still feel like it's going to happen a lot later. There's still so much that needs to happen, right? And in interest of keeping details in my head, I'm still thinking a lot about, how when they tried to transmute their mother and Alphonse was in that form for a while, his soul was in there before Ed managed to bind it to the suit of armor. And now Alphonse's body is in there, but it could still talk to Ed. And someone made a really interesting comment as well, which is not something I would have thought about, but it's given me so much food for thought about when Ed goes in there and he's like, hang on, there's two doors in here now. And one was Al's. So one was Al's door and one was Ed's door. But Al can't leave through his door without his soul, right? And the comment also said, Ed's truth, implying that perhaps there are multiple truths. There's not just the one truth, right? You can call this a spoiler if you want, but I don't think it's that big of a deal because it's really given me a lot to think about. And it makes sense that it would be Ed's truth because it had his arm and his leg on it. So I imagine, for example, Izumi's truth, parts of Izumi's internal organs are missing. That's probably where they are, on Izumi's truth. And there must be Alphonse's truth as well. We did get that flashback scene of Alphonse when he went into the truth. Did he lose his whole body? When Alphonse, there was a scene he reached out, he touched himself, right? and it looked a bit different, like it kind of had that smile on it, like the truth. At least that's what my memory is telling me what happened. Is his truth his entire body now? Like, I'm so intrigued about this whole truth and portal situation. Like, I can't wait to go back into it again. But that's it, I think, for all of that. Like, I'm really excited for this next arc, like going on and finding out more about Alchemist, maybe get some more history about what's been going on, delve deeper into Scar and his brother and all those research notes. It's really interesting. So that's where my head's at right now. That was a lot. When I look down at my recording, it's been 20 minutes. I know it'll be cut down quite a bit once I've done the editing. But I hope that's not too much. I just want to get everything out there. Like, I'm really enjoying talking about this show. And by the length of some of you guys' comments, I know you guys love talking about it as well. So I hope this is well received. But I'm going to play my reaction to the episode 29 post-credit scene now. And then I'll talk more about that afterwards. I do talk briefly about it after my reaction. But there was a lot I was saving because it was meant to go into last episode and it just didn't. But it is what it is. So here's the reaction to the episode 29 post-credit scene. So it has been brought to my attention by you guys that I missed the post-credit scene in episode 29, which I'm pretty upset about because I've been quite thorough making sure I know which episodes have post-credits and then even checking at the end of episodes. So I'm really upset that I missed this. It must have just completely slipped my mind. Now keep in mind, I've already watched episodes 30 and 31 now that I'm watching this post-credit scene. So we'll see if that has any relevance to it. And I'm just trying to put myself back into the mindset of what happened at the end of this episode before watching this scene. We've had some short ones and we've had some cool ones, so I have no idea what could possibly come here. Okay, father?
They forced me to follow through with their plans. I made a stone for them, and I used the lives of countless Isvalans to do it.
Oh, it's gluttony!
They're forcing me to cooperate on an experiment that's likely to result in another genocide.
Yeah, of a mistress?
Stop it! You have to kill me.
Oh, he wanted him to kill him. Yeah, I talked about this.
The only form of revenge that I have.
With the outro playing over this?
Your appearance here, right now.
I'm so mad I missed this.
Tell me everything about Ishval.
Yeah, he was ready to do it as well.
Story. What did you use my people for? You'll tell me all of it. Give me the truth before my
Look
right
at
hand
Scar,
destroys you.
man. I'm so upset I missed that. There's a lot I won't talk about right now because, like I said, I've already seen episodes 30 and 31, but I'm really upset that I did miss this. It would have hit really, really hard at the end of that episode, right? And it would have changed a lot about what I talked about in the next two episodes. So I guess at the start of episode 32, I will talk about this if I remember, but it was really interesting. The thing I can talk about was little Gluttony popping out of father there. There was like a little reaction going on in his chest, maybe a Philosopher's Stone situation, and Marco was talking about a Philosopher's Stone there, but he was talking about, you know, his role in Ishval, and then how Envy was talking about a few episodes ago what Marco is assuming to be, you know, the genocide of Amestris, right? But yeah, the way that led into, you know, Marco saying, please just kill me, and then Scar looking crazy. Yeah, like I said, I can't talk too much about it because there's still 2 episodes I've already filmed. But thank you everyone for pointing that out to me. Again, I'm so upset that I missed that. Okay, I know I said it a lot throughout the reaction, but I'm still so mad that I missed that. And I literally just must have forgotten to check. Like, I have a list that's been provided to me by one of my first watchers, my first subs, who very kindly commented on episode 1, you know, all the episodes with post-credit scenes in it. And even though I have that, I've still been checking pretty much every episode. I must have just completely missed it. And what a crazy scene to miss out on. Like, it's so impactful. So Gluttony is back. It seems he has not popped up at all in any of the episodes I've watched since then. But that's really saying it's the same Gluttony, right? Like Father said, I'm going to bring you back with all your memories. So that was really cool. Not what I expected to happen at all. And the whole Scar and Marco exchange. So I can talk a lot more about this now. And the biggest thing I wanted to talk about that I picked up on actually recently was Marco saying, this is the best revenge I can offer. And I believe he's talking about to the homunculi, right? Because Marco is very important to them. His revenge, having Scar kill him, would be such a shambles for the homunculi because they need Marco. So he's like, please kill me. Let me atone for what I've done. I feel awful about it. Like, I'm the reason, talking to Scar, I am the reason that so many of your people have died, and he's just been hiding away in his town, trying to, you know, try and live the rest of his life in peace, away from everything, all the bad things he's done. He comes face to face with Scar, and he's like, you right now are like a god to me, which is so relevant to Scar's character, right? Like, please kill me. Like, I want you to kill me. This is my atonement. This is my revenge. Super impactful scene. And the way Scar is like, he could have done it in that moment. He was so angry, but still showing a bit of that development that we know Scar is going to continue to have. He doesn't kill him, but he's like, you need to tell me everything right now. And he's like, you were useful. You could help me figure out my brother's research notes. So I'm going to take you with me. But not showing him a whole lot of kindness. Like, he was quite brutal with him in that scene, as well at the end of last episode, how he rearranges his face. That was crazy. But that was one of the best post-credit scenes so far. With the outro playing over the background and the way it fades out when Scar snaps was sick. But I think that's everything. This is where we find ourselves now. It's funny, I remember at one point a while ago I said I wanted to keep the intros brief, just a kind of quick summary, and really use the discussion at the end of the episode to talk. And here I am with a massive intro and like recap, throwing in post-credit scenes here. But that's the beauty of this show to me. It's really making me think. It's really making me want to pick up on all these details. And you guys in the comments are making me want to do that even more as well. And like I've said in the past, this show really deserves as much attention as I can give it, right? It's truly incredible. I'm only about halfway through, and just the amount of depth it has to it and everything, I could harp on about it forever. But so I'm trying not to feel too bad about spending so much time talking about it and really getting invested. It seems like it's going to be worth it. But with all of that being said and done, I'm going to get into episode 32 now. Thank you all so much for sticking around and being active in the comments, letting me know that I missed the post-credit scene, being so active in talking about, you know, how you think about my theories and things that I've missed and how much you all enjoy the show. But it's finally time to get into it now. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, episode 32.
Yeah.
It does look like her.
No, it doesn't. Wait, what? That's just not Xiaomei.
Oh, it's definitely not her.
What?
We can't afford to waste our time here humoring some old lady and her stupid cat. Where are you hiding?
We're probably, yeah, with Mei. But how are they gonna find out, like, that they're going to the north, hey? The Führer's son? Wait, what was his name? Like Salim or something? Why? Interesting. Oh, more train station stuff. I'm looking for characters in the background.
Does he never give up?
Damn, Mei would hear that. Hello?
Oh, I'm terribly sorry about that, dearie.
No, ma'am, it was my fault, really.
Where are you from, dear?
Shing, actually.
Is that right? You're here sightseeing?
I'm
Not much to look
thinking.
at in East City.
I'm heading north right now.
The train bound for North City is departing from platform 3. This is the final call
For
for
all
all
your help,
passengers.
ma'am.
Take care, dearie.
Where's Xiaomei ended up? I feel like that's the takeaway here. Oh, is that Mark? Oh no, Xiaomei's there. Okay.
I've never seen a cat like that.
Interesting. Okay, so that was Marco or Scar in the hood. Probably Marco, right? It's time.
Look, over there!
And they're like proper fugitives, hey? That's a sick shot with the moon out there. Central.
Was seen with a middle-aged man who had black hair, right?
Yes, that's what it said in the report.
Damn, they've
sir.
brought Kimberly in. What? This is crazy. The corruption of the military allows them to bring Kimberly in like this. They're looking for Scar, well, Marco, obviously.
He's leaving us a good trail.
Hmm.
All right, it's time to get to work.
Alright, Kimberly is on the move. I love this outfit. Look, it's the same woman. Who is this person? Kimberly picks something up.
A suspicious woman, but that isn't my job.
Oh, I can't really have any ideas about who that's supposed to be. Oh man. Is this Gracio or Winry? Oh, it's Roy. Man, that's even worse.
Looks like a funeral procession.
It's Grumman. As soon as he walked up here, I'm like, this might have something to do
Depressing.
with Roy.
When you read
You still look plenty young to me.
General Grumman, is that you?
Oh, he didn't know? That's so tough. Why is
Situation must be serious.
So he's disguised himself?
Last-ditch plan. So just to be safe, I wore a disguise.
Interesting, the last ditch plan. It's the voice that kills me.
What is it you need?
That's better.
Alchemistry.
Yes,
Maybe I have
yes,
some information in the library.
yes! I want this.
The Central Senior staff have all turned.
Mm-hmm.
With all the people you can trust stripped away from you, you won't get anywhere.
Yes.
And this is the last ditch.
Exactly, sir.
Something to do with Grumman.
Even Raven, too.
So I'm pretty sure Grumman recommended Roy to go and see Raven, right? That was the whole flashback scene when he met Bradley and realized all the corruption. He was playing chess with Grumman, right? Talking about Raven. I'm pretty sure that's the connection here.
He wanted to know if I'd be interested in a corps of immortal soldiers.
Oh.
Immortals.
Is this what their plan is?
You mean homunculi?
Yeah, oh,
The idea
lost.
of immortality is simply ridiculous. I told
Is this
him
what
as
they're
much
trying to
in
do?
Conversation. And not long after that, I was transferred.
I
Wow.
mean, you were demoted.
Yep.
Indeed, I was. And
He wasn't
since then,
interested
I've
in what they're doing, so they got rid of him.
job of cleaning-
Do you remember the difficulties that we had in Lior?
Okay.
Lior fell into chaos after that. But from the outset, forces from the east acted quickly. They brought the uprising under control.
But then the forces from Central came in, and all of the eastern forces were dismissed.
Mm-hmm.
Were you aware of that?
Yeah,
Look at this shot. It's so cool.
the peace in Lior was shattered
Yep.
after the Central forces appeared.
Yep, okay. See, Hughes, I've never talked about this, but I've paid attention to it. When Hughes was about to, when he was figuring out what was going on before he died, they put lots of emphasis on the uprisings in Lior as well, right? And I haven't really thought about what that means, because I was sure it was going to come back in like this at some point.
I'm sorry, General, but someone like you don't know how to sit by and watch.
That's who we need right now.
But you're trying to get me involved in
Yeah,
this
let's
too,
go. He's got no one else right now, man.
Working. Just when I thought my ambition was dead.
I feel like Grumman right now.
Myself fired up again.
Here we go.
Careful now. You don't want to mess up your makeup. Right, ma'am?
Oh my, no.
Oh, he just saw Xiaomei with Mei. Oh.
Why is there so little information available on alchemistry? At this rate, I'm thinking we might as well go to Xing. It'd be hard.
Ooh. Hello. What is going on here? Look at him. Bro, you can't do that. He just puts it back.
Ranger, what do you want?
This is a library, you know.
That's what I'm saying. You just pushed 2 shelves over.
I understand you're after a certain Xingese girl who possesses
Okay, talk to me.
a black and white cat.
What have you got for me?
Colonel Mustang informed me.
Yeah, he got the information from Grumman.
Today. The word is the girl is headed
Yep, okay. Nice.
According to an eyewitness.
Grumman got that information from Mei. Good, I was wondering how they were gonna go north as well.
Information I can
Yes!
act on.
Hold on a second. There's more.
What's that?
Take this.
What is it?
Armstrong's like hair in his mustache.
But it might not be much use.
A letter of introduction.
See her.
Or who? What do you mean?
Even further north than Northern Command. You'll find an officer nicknamed the Northern Wall of Briggs, who defends our border.
I've got chills right now.
Major General Armstrong.
Holy shit. Dude, that gave me chills. I don't know. Major General Armstrong? I'm so intrigued by that. That looks so cool. Even further north than Northern. I'm so excited for this north situation. I just can't. I can't. Let's get it.
Fullmetal Alchemist.
I even forgot about this. Yes, Celine Bradley. The episode is called The Führer's Son. We're halfway through and we've had nothing to do with it. I'm so invested in this right now. Let's go. Come on. Still on the run.
There's no escape for you now, Scar.
I can't believe they haven't just shot him yet. He's trying to get on the train as it comes past, right? Oh, that's so handy, isn't it? In the smoke. Gone. Well, now they definitely know where he's going. Yeah.
Train bound for West City.
Oh, for West City? He might transfer to go to North. Throw them off a little
I
bit.
can't find any details about Alchemist.
Don't worry, we're going North.
That May girl's use of long-range alchemy was pretty impressive.
It was really cool.
I wish we could use it. I should have asked her more about it when we were at Dr. Knox's place.
This is Salim, for sure.
You're wearing a full suit of armor. Does that mean you're the Fullmetal Alchemist's brother?
He did put emphasis on he wanted to meet them, right? Before? Bro, it's a library, shush.
I'm sorry.
Why this now?
What are you
Why?
studying? Something cool? We've got all sorts of talented alchemists.
This kid knows his
So
stuff.
why would you guys look into the kind of alchemy they practice in a foreign country?
I can't
It's a
tell
big
you.
question.
So what am I supposed to say?
You don't have to say anything. This is a kid, bro.
Alchemist is supposed to have a lot of medical uses. Properties can be
It's
used
a
to
drawing
save
of Al.
people's lives.
It's a good response.
Hey, Al! Get ready, we're leaving.
Quiet, brother. This is the library.
Look, don't worry about it. I'll tell you everything on the way. For now, let's just get moving. First, we'll need to stop by the hotel. Hey, who's this kid?
They don't know who he is yet, hey.
I called you brother. Does that mean you're Edward?
Mr.
Allen, the
Armor.
Fullmetal Alchemist?
Yeah.
Oh, cool! You are a tiny alchemist, just like everyone says.
What was that? You
Oh,
it again. Once more. I'll send you flying.
Ed, this is a kid, bro.
That's true too. You hate being called small, just like everyone says.
Step away from Master Salim.
No, wait! Don't shoot him!
How did we get here?
Mr. Salim, are you Salim Bradley?
Yeah, they figured it out now.
Führer's son?
Yeah, that's me.
Jesus Christ. Oh,
How did this happen?
that's what I'm saying. How did we get here? We're having tea with Bradley's family.
I want to become a state alchemist, just like you, Ed.
Just like me?
And then I'll be able to help my father out as well.
I'm assuming he doesn't really know, right? What Bradley actually is or what he does.
Father? And what kind of man is he?
An amazing man. His job is more demanding than
This would
anybody
go back
else's
to
in the world.
the essay he wrote on Bradley.
Every day thinking about the people of this country.
This kid's got no idea, man.
He's always been devoted to his work.
Hmm.
That's what he's good at. But then where women are concerned, I'm afraid he's a bit of an oaf. The first time we met, he made me so angry I actually slapped him.
Oh my
But it worked
god.
out for the best. He asked me out after that, and our first date was amazing. Oh, sorry. Listen to me,
Oh, it's so
babbling like a
interesting.
little schoolgirl.
So much you can talk about from that. Is he here? Alright, I don't like this situation.
Dad's home!
Hi, dear.
He did say to them, as long as you don't interfere, you can do what you like.
What are you
So,
doing back home?
Long time no see.
Long time. I just saw you boys in Central Command, right?
this is like father.
Are you wondering why he doesn't look like us?
No, sir. It didn't cross my mind.
Well, it's because we aren't related by...
Oh, right, they did say that.
So we adopted Salim, and he's our son now.
Right.
I'm proud of my boy. He's grown into a fine, devoted son. What's wrong, Elric?
Oh, it's just that we never see you except at the command center. So
This is different.
Kind of, you know.
It's a side of you we're not used to seeing, that's all.
But as you can tell, even a man like me has a family waiting for him at home.
Damn.
I'm sure, of course, it's quite different from yours.
Jesus Christ. Ever threatening, man. Oh, this family situation is so interesting.
You know I have duties to get back to, Salim. Make yourself at home. You're welcome anytime, State Alchemist.
Oh, it's such a situation, man.
Let's go.
Oh, of course. She's his personal assistant now. Did not expect this at all, this episode.
It's sad. Neither Celine nor his mother know what Fuhrer Bradley really is.
That's what I'm saying, man. Unless there's something deeper, but it does seem that way.
Come on, let's go. We're headed north.
Yeah, here we go. Let's get back onto this.
That obnoxious little brat and make her tell us everything she knows about alchemy.
They still haven't shown us who this is. Like, it's either Marco or Yoki, right? And the other one is with May.
This is the spot where he was last sighted. Right here. And West City is there. Trains slow down when they turn. But how much speed do they lose?
Kimberly really be thinking.
We're looking for jumped off.
It would have been very dangerous, sir.
All right then. After they jumped off, which way would they go? North or south?
We can imagine they're going north, but does Kimberly know that? And why would he think so? Interesting. I know there's a post-credit scene in this episode, so I'm gonna watch that now as well.
This is the first time
Okay.
we've been so far north.
He got his coat on, it's getting cold.
I wonder if we'll see any snow.
That would be something. I might like to see that. Snow's
I've never seen snow, that would be cool. Okay, that's it? Okay, the first thing I'm going to draw attention to, and this is something I've been meaning to do almost every episode and I always forget. There's always some meaning, like with the titles of this episode, that I really enjoy. It's just so interesting that they title the episode The Fuhrer's Son. They spend maybe 30-40% of the episode with Salim in it. Makes me think there's a lot more to Salim than they're letting on. But I'm going to talk about Bradley and his family first before I talk about everything else that went on. So I do believe they mentioned early on that Salim was adopted, right? They were saying, how could I have a family? I'm a homunculus. Instead, Salim was adopted, yes. And when his wife says, oh, we're unable to have children of our own, I believe that's strictly because Bradley's a homunculus, right? And I'm still thinking so much about, you know, how we know that Ling is inside of Greed right now. The original Bradley. I'm like, is he in there? Or some people were saying the way Wrath works is it's just one soul that survived. There's no other souls in there. But I just think so much about the way Bradley sometimes is with his family. Like, I'm pretty sure he's just putting it all on, you know, like it's part of his job. He's got to seem like, you know, a good Führer, right? He's got his own family waiting at home. But even throughout all those interactions, he's throwing so much shade towards Ed and Al. It's so interesting, like, you know, just in interest of keeping an open mind, they do put emphasis on Ed and Al saying at the end, you know, oh, his wife and son know nothing about what Bradley actually is. Which we were led to think was the case for the military, right? But then we saw how much of the military was actually corrupted with Bradley. And the most interesting takeaway from all that was Grumman talking to Roy and Grumman saying, look, they wanted me, like, were you interested in being part of like this immortal soldiers situation? As soon as Grumman wasn't involved, they said, okay, you're out, get out of here. So I imagine that's what all those people in that room that one time, they were all part of that. Like that's their ploy, right? Are they all gonna become homunculi, like with Philosopher's Stones? So interesting. But yeah, in essence, I think there's more to Bradley and his family than the show is letting on at this point. And I look, by nature, I'm an overthinker. The only interaction of pride we have seen, or I guess heard, is in Bradley's head, right? And Bradley said he's proud of his son. Look, he could just be saying he's proud of his son. Like, the word truth gets thrown around in the show all the time that has nothing to do with the actual truth. So I could be overthinking, but I just found that very interesting. It does make me think a little bit more, though. Like, if Salim is adopted, like, who is original parents? Anyway, that's probably nothing. I've had enough theories that have just been nothing at this point, so I might leave that where it is for now. But I do feel like there is more to Bradley's family, in essence. Alright, so pretty much that whole beginning segment of the episode, you know, Ed and Al are looking for Xiao Mei so they can find Mei to get Mei to tell them all about alchemy. Like, that's what that's their goal right now, alchemy. And maybe we can use that against Father if Father can't cancel out alchemy, only alchemy. Mei's at the train station, runs into Grumman in disguise. Grumman sees Xiao Mei May manages to give some information away that she's from Xing, but she's heading up north. So when Grumman is speaking to Roy later on, he sees Roy with a picture of Xiao Mei, presumably from Ed and Al, as they were trying to track down Mei. And Grumman has told Roy, like, I found Mei, I found the girl, she said she was going north. Roy gets that information to Armstrong, Armstrong gives it to Ed, and I'll come back to Armstrong in a bit as well. But like I said during the episode, I believe Grumman was, working at the Eastern Center. Like, we knew about this. He was playing chess with Roy. He was the one who said you should go to Raven, like when you need help, right? Which led to Roy finding out how corrupt the military actually is. And Grumman was referring to this last-ditch plan, which was, I guess to contact Grumman, get him involved, and he seems really excited. I'm really keen to see what happens when Grumman gets involved in all of this. But the secret line was given to Roy by Fullmetal, I believe. He's taken it to Madame Christmas, who has, sent the message on the private line to Grumman. So, and a lot of emphasis during their conversation on the East Command versus Central, right? So this whole situation in Lior, which I believe was episode 3. It's like there were the uprisings, and once the Eastern forces got there, they were suppressed. Central got involved, and then it all went to shit. And Hughes was kind of getting onto that as well. It's really interesting. Like Central wants things to be a bit shambolic, right? Is that a word? I don't know. I like it. Perhaps for more, create more havoc so they can take more people as sacrifices for Philosopher's Stones. It's so interesting. All this emphasis on Lior. The priest was there with his incomplete Philosopher's Stone. It's just, it's very interesting. It'll come back, I'm sure. I don't think I can think too much about Lior right now, but I know that there is involvement. Maybe it's just to emphasize the fact that Central is really orchestrating a lot of what is going on. But the East seems to be like, that's all that Roy has left right now. Everyone's been scattered about. Hawkeye's with Bradley, etc. But he's still got Grumman. I'm really excited to see what they do together. And then the whole Armstrong and Ed interaction. I love these big northern icy, snowy situations, right? It gives me like big Game of Thrones vibes. Like, I love stuff like that. So Armstrong putting all this mystery and emphasis on like further north than Northern Command. I think the Northern Wall of Briggs. Major General Armstrong. That has to be a step up from our Armstrong, right? Like, he's just Major Armstrong, right? And just that shot of who I'm assuming is Major General. These two other people behind her. Definitely some relation to Armstrong. I'm pretty sure Armstrong has put some emphasis on his family, maybe in the early episodes. I can't actually remember. It might have been nothing. And he gives Ed a letter of introduction, which clearly looked like, like his own seal on there, right? But that's so cool. Now there's even more reason to go north, right? Like, we're going after May, we're looking for alchemy, and now we're going to meet one of Armstrong's relatives who is seemingly very powerful, very excited about that. And the whole while we have Scar being chased by the military, it's par for the course. Like, nothing crazy to say there, like he's clearly trying to meet up with May to go north. But the thing that's interesting to me about that is at the start of the episode we had May, when she went off to get on the train, she went to that hooded person, which we're led to think, okay, it's probably Marco, right? They're trying to, hide him as they all move north. But Scar also had someone with him who was hooded, and they never showed either of their faces. It would make sense. One of them's Yoki, one of them's Marco, right? It really gets you thinking. Maybe Yoki and Marco are traveling together separately, and May and Scar are kind of making it look like they're I don't know, something like that. Just crazy how Ed and Al somehow through all of this end up having tea with Bradley and his family. Like, it's just crazy. It's not something I expected them to throw in there at all. They've put emphasis on Bradley's son. Bradley's still throwing shade at them, like threatening them. It's very interesting, probably setting something up for the future. But now we're all going north. That post-credit scene just showing that Ed and Al are on their way north, talking about, it'd be cool to get some snow. We know May is currently on a train heading north, and Scar has just jumped off of the train heading west, probably to go north himself. And Kimberly is just working, with the military. And obviously that's Bradley's influence. They're like, we need you to go after Marco and Scar. So he's working with the military and he's on their trail. Like, he knows where they're going. So it's all going to happen up north. It's so interesting. I think Roy's going to stay put and something's going to happen with Grumman and all that. But really good. I like where we're at. There's been quite a slow build up these last few episodes into this whole northern segment, which I'm very, very excited about. But I think that's going to do it for this one. This is going to be a really long video, so for everyone who made it the whole way through, I really appreciate you. Please leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. I'm not quite at a point with the other shows that I'm watching that I talk this much about them, but I could definitely see myself doing so in the near future. And as always, please continue to leave your comments and feedback down below. I'm still really enjoying engaging with everyone and seeing what everyone thinks about all the episodes. And I'm still always appreciating of any attention these videos are getting. And we'll see you in the next episode of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood.